Hi, good evening, students. This is a conversation class in your MBB channel. Tonight, we are going to present an interview um, in which Oprah Winfrey is interviewing The Rock. That's how we call him, The Rock. So we got English speeches and with subtitles, but we're going to be pausing it because I'm going to be asking you questions. So this is only for advanced students. So if you can comment, if you can speak English here. Firstly, you're going to listen to the interview and I'm going to be pausing it and asking questions. Okay, listen everybody.
Thank you, Oprah, for having me. Thank you, guys.
So your father was very strict. Now, here's the thing. You've gone one-on-one with some fierce competitors in the ring, right? But now you're in one of the scariest situations any man can be in, raising.
So firstly, Oprah Winfrey is confirming that The Rock's father was really strict. So I want you to comment how strict was your father and your mother as well. So when parents are strict, it's because they want, things good for their children. So that's why we can see him and me, especially me, that I follow him, that I really like his movies and, all of stuff. And he has been raised with values and principles, and I think, and I assume, and I'm certain that it's because of that. So I want you to comment how strict your father was, right? Or how strict your father is, if he's still strict. And how important is it when father is strict? So I'm gonna write the question. The question is, how strict is your dad? How strict is your father? And if that is good to be strict, if it is good for a father to be strict, how strict, how strict is your father? How strict is your father? Your father. Your father. How strict is your father? So this is the first question that I want you to answer in the comments, and how important is it, or how relevant how relevant is it for a parent to be strict, and for the family as well? How relevant is it? These are the two first questions. I'm gonna be asking you more questions, obviously, but these are the first two questions. How strict is your father and how relevant is it? For example, in my case, for me, it was relevant that my father was so strict, because that way I could be raised with values and principles, and I'm very delighted about that. So that is very important. Unfortunately, nowadays, children are not raised up with principles and values. Their parents are not that strict. My father was strict, but he was a loving father as well. So, okay, I know that you're going to answer the questions in the comment. So let's continue with the interview that Oprah Winfrey. Let me tell you that she's a great woman as well, and I follow her too. So everybody, let's continue.
Raising three daughters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's repeat that part because I need to ask you more questions about this part.
But now you're in one of the scariest situations any man can be in, raising three daughters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want you also, students, to tell me how difficult it was for your parents to raise the amount of children he had, you know. Especially, you just have to count or tell us how many siblings you have. And you could sit in your house, how your parents were raising you. So how how was it for them? If it was difficult or it was easy?
Extremely scary.
And are you a strict dad? That-
I am. I'm not super strict, but discipline is important. But also, you know, I'll go back to my dad. My dad loved me with the small capacity in which he was capable of. So I learned from that. And so with my daughters, I want to be as full and as present.
Okay, in his case, he said he's not super strict, but there is one requirement, and one of the requirement is that discipline is very important in his house. So students, I want you to comment, right? To write your comments below, because I want you to answer this question. If is it a discipline in your house? You know, if in your house there demands discipline, right? So that is very important that you comment it or you know say it.
With the love that I give them.
Present,
So,
yes.
yes.
That's what we've been talking about. What do you want to make sure?
One of the most important is love, you know, when it doesn't matter how strict your dad is, but you know, when he expresses love or show you love, you know.
Sure that they get that you didn't get. And it's so interesting when you have children, I've seen this from a lot of people, who you didn't get what you needed. You just didn't get what you needed because of what The Rock just said. Your parents didn't have the capacity to give it to you. And now that you're older, you have to learn to give that to yourself and to be able to give that to your children in a way that you don't carry on what was done to you. So what is it you want?
Yeah, students, sometimes children, they don't they don't understand that. There are parents that they don't have the capacity, you know, the enough capacity to raise their children. And sometimes children don't understand that the things that they don't get at home, it is not because their dad doesn't want to give it to them. It is due to, you know, the lower capacity he has, could be economically or you know, and his professionalism, right? Maybe he's not professional, maybe he doesn't have a great job that can get you whatever you want. Because sometimes children they ask, you know.
Want your daughters to know about the way you love them?
I want my daughters to know that I love them unconditionally, truly unconditionally, without condition. And I have a daughter who's 18 years old. Her name is Simone.
I want you to write that as well. Students, if your dad used to love you unconditionally, or he still love you unconditionally, I want you to write that down as well. This is another question.
Jasmine, who just turned 4,
Tiana.
baby Tiana, thank you, who is getting ready to turn 2. And I am, as I told my 18-year-old daughter Simone, I said, I love you. I'm going to tell you I love you every day. I'm going to text you I love you.
So you're one of those say the words out loud.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I didn't get that. And
Yeah.
I will look at you, I love you, and I'm going to text you. But I also told her, I'm unattached. You don't even have to text me back, right? You could text me back, it's fine, but you don't have to. Like, it's okay. It's without condition. It's unconditional love. And I also want to teach my daughters the value of hard work.
That is something, student, that you know, that I disagree a little bit with him when he says that he has to express, you know, his love to the kids. It is not that I disagree with him, but when you love someone, it not necessarily Not necessarily students that you have to express your love, not necessarily. Okay, we're gonna see something. We're gonna see something, students here. Let me click on the screen. Okay, let me share the screen. Remember that there are some questions that you need to answer. The first one was that on how strict your father was, and if that was relevant. This is another question I want to ask you. The other question I want to ask you is, how many siblings do you have? How many siblings? Siblings. How many siblings do you have? How many siblings do you have? Right? How many siblings do you have? For example, in my case, I have 5 siblings, right? I have we are 3 brothers and 2 sisters. 3 brothers and yeah, 2 sisters. So I want you to write, student, how many siblings you got, right? When you comment that, this is the first part of our video, students. And I want you to, as I told you, to comment, and you can write some more questions about that, about parents, Okay, so here, students, this is one of our first video for this channel, and I want you to comment if you really like the first part. Student, it was all for tonight. I just, as I said before, write your comments because I need to, listen to your opinion about that team specifically. So good night, everybody, and that was all for tonight. That was the first part, so there is a second part. Subscribe, students, if you need the second part. Start in great tonight. So see you, everyone, and have a good night.